Hello, everybody. Welcome to Straight Talk by Place Overseas. Great to have you with us. Thank you all for subscribing to this channel. Thank you all for your feedback. We really appreciate because we are just starting with the channel. So every kind of feedback from you guys, we really appreciate. Now, if you're watching this episode, you're probably thinking, I'm ready to buy my first home in Dubai. Well, here's what's new and here's what you need to know right away. The Dubai Land Department, together with the Department of Economy and Tourism, has launched a major initiative called the First Time Homebuyer Program. It's open to UAE residents of any nationality, aged 18 or above, who've never owned a freehold residential property in Dubai and are looking at homes valued up to around 1.36 million US dollars. Well, the perks: priority access to new projects from top developers, preferential pricing, flexible payment options for registration fees, and tailored mortgage plans designed to make ownership easier. So, if you've been renting in Dubai or you're finally ready to put down roots, this could be your moment. But as always, guys, the devil is in the details. That's why I brought Cameron, not the devil, who's going to help us with the details. Cameron, of course, you guys know, he's the founder of Place Overseas and has years of experience in guiding the investors all over the world. Welcome again, Cameron, to our podcast.
Thank you.
So, who exactly qualifies for this program and what should we have in mind?
UAE residents qualify for the program. Say, if you're a resident in Dubai, how do you become a resident? There are several ways. It could be a golden visa. It could be a number of other methods that you could have utilized to become a UAE resident. So UAE residents who are over the age of 18, like you said, and who do not already own a property, a freehold property, who do not already own a property in Dubai, they qualify for that. So the program is in fact geared toward genuine first-time buyers. So it's a proper first-time buyer support program.
So the government talks about, and I'll read it here, they talk about priority access, special pricing, but in real terms, what does that mean for buyers? And I mean, not just for buyers, for investors as well. Okay. How does this impact this program? How can this impact their future investments in Dubai?
Okay. Well, from the point of view of the home buyer, let's park real estate investors aside. Let's look at the home buyers for whom the program is intended. From their viewpoint, it gives them access to their first home in Dubai. So what Dubai is trying to do, basically, is to move people from renting a home into owning their own home. Now, how are they planning to do this? This particular support program was actually launched only in July 2025. So we're in 11th month now. July is the 7th month, so 4 months ago. So it's a baby program. It's a fresh program. A lot of the details are out, but there are still a lot of question marks around it as to how how is it going to be regulated? What can I get? What can I not get? But in broad terms, here are the things. Certain banks in the UAE have formed an association with certain developers. These are mainly tier 1 developers in Dubai, but not restricted to tier 1 developers. Certain developers, banks, they have come together in providing easement, let's say, to first-time buyers, making life easier for them. How are they doing this? Well, they are giving them access to entry level, what we call first call prices. Normally, in popular developments in Dubai, this is something we see all the time, and this is amazing news for our parked investors.
Yeah.
The investors will
listen,
park
guys.
their side. Okay, this is amazing news for them.
Yeah.
For certain type of developments in Dubai, again, mainly by reputable developers who have a very good track record of delivering on time and delivering to quality, promised quality matrices, before even they launch to public, at what we call pre-launch stage, 20, 30, 40% sometimes 50% of all units get sold. This is before they have even launched to public. When you buy something at a pre-launch stage, did you know that you're not even buying an apartment or a villa or a townhouse or whatever you call it. You're not even buying, say, 100 square meters of an apartment on the 7th floor, two from the left corridor. No, what you're buying is literally space, because you do not even have floor plans in most cases.
Right.
You do not even have an apartment designated in terms of numbers and floor plans that you're buying. All you're doing is you're buying an allotment, such as I am buying 100 square meters of whatever is to come there. That's a pre-launch purchase in most cases.
When I was reading about this, and last time we discussed these off plans and ready to move, and obviously, for someone like me, I don't know, I was looking more to off plans because it's more affordable. But then I do want to know what's the key difference when it comes to this program.
Okay.
Let's go back to that.
Now, you have an attractive project
Yeah.
by an attractive developer in an attractive zone. So investors who've been eyeing up the market for a long time, most of them already invested and have done multiple investments in Dubai. They bought, sold, so they know the market. So they know exactly, hey, there's something coming there that's prime for investment. So before anybody else rushes, these guys, they go in, even at pre-launch stage, and they grab an allotment. Now, you would appreciate that at that pre-launch stage, before the project is even launched to crowds, the price I'm getting is much lower than the price you will get in 3-4 months' time, because that's a pre-launch price. That's even before it's been announced. So I'm coming in almost like a seed investor, That's called seed investor. Now, what they're trying to do now is to create an allotment, even at that stage, not open them all to these big-pocketed, deep-pocketed, or influential investors,
Right.
or agents who will then, give them on to investors. They will allot these to first-time buyers. So these developers that have pledged to this program, that are included in this program, they are basically pledging, and they are saying that we shall allot units in these projects to first-time buyers at prices that normally very acute investors would only get in, because they would have followed for months, if not years beforehand, and they would snap it even at a stage before anybody even knows there will be a project.
How can Place Overseas help you with navigating those?
Well, now, these allotments, or let's say these properties that hopefully will come, will greet first-time buyers, because this is what the project is all about, giving them priority, meaning giving them the lowest cost, their first-time buyers. Now, these types of projects we will also get our hands on, but we're not first-time buyers ourselves. Okay, so we can't necessarily get in there and pretend to be a first-time buyer because you can only be a first-time buyer once,
Once, yeah.
not twice. Okay, so there isn't much we can do there other than alert investors that, hey, in 2 months' time there will be a development coming up in such and
Pay
such a
attention
place.
to that. Yeah,
It is a strategic place that will have massive traction from first-time home buyer communities.
You mentioned some
now
of those areas
and
last
when
week.
completed.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Investor, this is where you want to be, because this is where you will enjoy quite steep capital growth in the next year or two.
Right.
As you ride the wave. So this is how we shall assist our investors, by tipping them off at the right time.
Yeah, but what I want to achieve with this podcast, and I'm sure you will agree, because you already worked a lot with these type of people, investors, but we want to also engage with those who are looking from home buyers' perspective. So let's talk about the money beyond the purchase price, right? What are the other costs buyers need to prepare for? Things like, let me read it here, the 4% DLD registration fee, maintenance, service charges, agency commissions. How does financing through this program that UAE is offering differ from a traditional mortgage?
Okay.
Let's just say.
Now that's a very, very good question. So we now covered that first-time buyer support program will give some priority access to first-time home buyers, and that priority access means lowest cost entry. We got that, and this is
Right.
an amazing big tick. But the other thing is, and this is where the banks come in. We said developers and banks are coming together to offer this program, together with the DLD and the tourism ministry of Dubai. Now, what the banks are pledging to offer is tailored cash flow programs, tailored mortgage programs. What does this mean? Typically, as a first-time buyer, you can look forward to up to 25-year payment terms. Okay, 25 years is quite long. It's comparable to Europe, comparable to the US. What they're doing is this. Normally, when you get a mortgage, the mortgage is either at a fixed rate or at a variable rate. If you're getting a mortgage today in Dubai, UAE currency being pegged to US dollar, the mortgage rate that you shall get, the interest rate that you shall get, will be very, very comparable to should you get a mortgage in the US, because they're pegged currencies. For example, right now in the US, interest rates are hovering around 5.5% mortgage rates. In UAE, in Dubai, the same figures are considered, but slightly lower, around 5% currently today, being pegged to dollar, as I said. So what they are offering, what they will be offering, is a slightly varied repayment strategy, such as, say you're a first-time buyer, a young couple in your early 30s. You're on your career path, whatever you're doing, whether you're self-employed or you're working for a company, you're in a career path. In your early 30s, okay, if all things go right, you only have increased income capacity to look forward to, right?
Yeah.
Because, you're building your life, you're building your career, so your take-home pay, let's say, hopefully, will be going up. 3 years later, you'll be earning more than what you'd earn today. 3 years down the line from there, you'll be earning, because you're building. So what they're willing to do, it seems, is to structure your repayments, mortgage repayments, in line with your income, rather than say it's fixed every month for the next 25 years, this is what you pay. No, they're tailoring the cash outflows in line with your income, recognizing that for most first-time buyers, their income is on an increasing trend. So they're structuring the mortgage repayments in line with that. Now, this is an excellent move.
So listen, Cameron, we talked about this program, this and that, the cost, but what are the main risks here, and what should we be careful about if we are first-time home buyers?
If you are a first-time home buyer, like we all have been, I think what I would like to say is, first of all, budget carefully. Because as a first-time home buyer, I would imagine with the support, the financial support, with the mortgage cash outflow tailoring on the mortgage side, which is an amazing initiative, I would imagine that over 50% of first-time home buyers will be doing this via mortgages. They'll probably be putting down 20%, 25% deposit because the maximum loan to value is 80%. So they'll be putting down 20%, 25%, and they will be obtaining a mortgage for the rest of the balance over 20, 25 years, which is a long term. So what I would say, number one, make sure that you do not squeeze yourself too much, because buying a home for your family is very important, but not at the cost of your life.
Yeah.
Not if
your
at the
lifestyle.
end of the month you've got no money left to enjoy with your family. So be very careful. You know, it's an important trade-off to carefully consider.
Okay.
Now, for example, the ceiling, the first-time home buyer ceiling, the support ceiling, is around $1.4 million, which is 5 million dirhams. So it's about 1.4 million US dollars. So if you go for the maximum, that means that you will put down as a minimum 300,000 US dollars as a deposit. That's 20% of the maximum you can get under the scheme. So $300,000 will be what you will be putting down. So first of all, make sure that you can easily put that down without unduly compromising your quality of life. And the second thing is, look at the mortgage repayments that you would have agreed with the bank, even if they vary them a little bit to suit less in the earlier years and more in the future years. Make sure that my test for this is whatever your household income is, husband and wife together, make sure that your mortgage repayments are not more than 1/3 of your household income. 1/3. I find generally that 1/3 is a magic number. If you
Why-
are
why?
paying, why? Because say your household income is, for argument's sake, $1,000 a month. 1/3 of that is $333 a month. Make sure that your mortgage repayments on a monthly basis are not more than $333 a month, because what you are left with is going to go toward your children, your food, your entertainment, your quality of life. So this I find universally to be a magic number, 1/3. So be careful with that, and also realize that a lot of the mortgage rates are variable. So if interest rates all of a sudden spike up, say Federal Reserve, 6 years down the line, 5 years down the line, they're now on a curbing spree, but say they decide again with the macroeconomics, the economy, to push up interest rates. Well, the same thing will happen in the UAE, being pegged. Interest rates will go up. So, take all these into account. And also take into account that...
So that's two. And third?
Take into account that when you first buy a home, or when you buy a home in Dubai, usually, you should account for around 7% on top of the purchase price. What is the 7%? The 4% is the stamp duty that you pay to the Dubai Land Department, 4% stamp duty. In fact, same as Turkey. In Turkey, it's 4% also. You have generally a 2% agency fee that as a buyer you shall pay, 2%. So that makes up to 6%. Then there is generally a mortgage arrangement fee, an admin fee, or around 1% of the mortgage amount. And some other official fees here and there that come to around, on average, $700. When you add all these together, give or take, you're at around 7%. Okay? On top of the total cost of the property. So budget that carefully. And the final thing I'd like to say, whether you are a home buyer or an investor.
I was about to say that. We talked about the first home buyers, the program, but let's come back to, investors. And instead of a bottom line, I'd like you to answer just give a final thought on what's in all this for investors.
Okay, so if you are an investor, you're not a home buyer, you don't even live in Dubai, you're not a resident of Dubai, but you earmarked Dubai as a very strong real estate investment market. And you wouldn't be wrong. What does this new First Time Homebuyer Support Program mean for you? Well, in my opinion, it means a lot. Because the way I see it, with the ambitious population growth plan of Dubai, from around 3.8 million people today to close to 7, if not 8 million people they're targeting by 2030, this is a massive uplift in population. And you can see how they're trying to do that. They're trying to bring people in, embed them into the society. So with the support program, First Time Homebuyer Support Program, with a lot of infrastructure changes that they're putting through, the new airport, Al Maktoum Airport, the blue line, the metro line that will cross quite a few of the townships of Dubai, increasing connectivity. The AI, the IT infrastructure, the way they're pulling talent into Dubai, all these things point to a genuine population increase.
Yeah.
Now, if you are an investor, there's one question you should be asking yourself. Where is this population going? Where are they buying? Where will they set their roots? Where will they grow their families? Where will their kids go to school? Where will the hospitals be? Where will they entertain themselves? Where will they walk? Where are their parks? Where are their playgrounds? Ask these questions, because these questions will give you the right answers as to where you will have your exit strategy. An investor has to look for 3 things. When you buy real estate, when you are a real estate investor, there are many factors you should be considering. But in reality, there are 3 main factors that will make the difference. 1, buy at the lowest cost. This is why we still recommend off-plan. We still recommend pre-launch with tier 1 developers. Be informed and get in before anybody else. Pay the lowest cost. Do not pay somebody else's profit. Get in first.
Right.
But where do you get in first? If you get in first to those areas where I can clearly see, and there are those areas in Dubai, where oversupply is creeping, and it will over the next 5 years, then your exit strategy may very well be compromised. Be careful. So follow the families. Follow the First Home Buyer Support Program. Follow where they're supporting, what areas they're developing,
Right.
where the trends are for families, for real end users to populate, to grow their families. They are the areas where, as an investor, you will have the strongest exit strategy. The 3 things I said: 1, lowest cost. Buy at the lowest cost. 2, make sure if you're going to be holding for a while, you have stable income. And 3, and in my opinion, I always say this, the most important factor, exit strategy. You can buy at the lowest cost. You can generate good rental income. But if you can't sell, you have no gains.
It's also interconnected, fascinating as I discover real estate with you through your eyes, how it's important to look into a lot of factors, and it really requires a proper strategy. Look
Real
a little bit look
estate-
at in the past,
Yes.
and most importantly,
Yes.
look into the future.
Real
and your
estate,
end.
real estate is about vision. Real
Right.
estate is about vision.
Yeah.
If you have a strong vision as to what the future will look like, where will people want to live?
Yeah,
Where
like any
will
business.
people want to
Yeah.
enjoy?
Yeah.
If you can
Trends, follow the
really
trends.
follow those trends and not just hype. Hype is the biggest red herring
Right.
in real estate investment.
We talked about that in our other shows. Cameron,
Yeah.
thanks so much. Thanks so much for that. And thank you all for watching this episode. And see you again soon. Cameron, thanks again.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye.